welcome to another exciting edition of Broad Daylight with me, Priscilla Moore. Today on Broad Daylight, our guest is a politician and a chief. He is the founder and leader of the United Front Party, and he is also Nana Agyenim Boateng. Today, we are going to have a lot of discussion with him. It's actually at up close with the flag bearer of the UFP party, Nana Agyenim.
Yeah.
If I hope the intro no mama ni ya ma.
No, yeah.
E da ya me ase. O ho ye fe anope.
Me dasi.
E da wa di ase so. Na ye starting komo no. Me pese me hu e din na e hye wo nkran a odi a political party. What motivated you?
Yeah, most grateful. Political party is something like a calling.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's not an easy thing. Political party, because as soon as you form a political party, your private life ended. You become a public figure. For instance, yesterday I was driving and someone came and hit my car recklessly. He said, "Oh, Your Excellency." I couldn't talk, I couldn't get down how to. So suddenly there is a man standing by and says, once you form a party, once you become a leader, then the whole nation, you don't have one mother. All the women are your mothers, fathers. Your private life, everything ceases. And the kind of sacrificial that goes in is not a small thing. I've been in politics over 2 decades. I commenced from MPP. I was then the Subin constituency youth organizer in 1996. By then, Honorable S.K. Boafo, he was the MP for Subin. I became his youth organizer before the constituency organizer. In 1999, I formed the Young Elephant Movement that helped J. Kufuor to win power in 2000. I've done a lot in politics. It proceeded to the extent when MPP win power, I became the special assistant to the Honorable Minister. We proceed. Then they changed him. There was a reshuffling. So he became the first chieftaincy minister in Ghana. Then he took me to Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs. I worked as a registrar for Santehene, Otumfuo for many years. So in 2008, when the Nanado and Chematin battle was ongoing, I was then a huge supporter for Nanado Danko Kufuor.
So why did you leave?
There was a lot to that. So, in simple, you see, man must proceed, man must move ahead.
Okay.
So, I get to a point, I was part of Nanado team that assisted him to win Alan Chematin in 2007. Afterwards, I contested as Ashanti Regional Youth Organizer MPP. I became the campaign coordinator for Professor Frimpong Boateng when he was aspirant as a flag bearer for New Patriotic Party. I was his Northern Sector Coordinator. So after that primaries, a lot of things went on and it's over. And I decided to form my own party in 2010.
Interesting. How has it been forming your own party compared to what you were doing initially, helping another party?
You see, now the responsibility rests on my bosom. But by then, I will take it as working for someone. Now I am working for myself and others.
What is the difference?
The difference is there is a liberty in what I'm doing now than previously, because most of the leaders, when you are working for them, a lot of informations that they will not filter it, then they just take it like that. It doesn't make them a good leader.
When you say a lot of information that they don't filter, what exactly do you mean? In terms of what?
In terms of, imagine, once you are moving with an aspirant or let's say an MP or a minister, you are in a position that I would say is an enviable position. So everybody wanted to be there. Every day, your little error, they will explain it to their tune. They just, I would say, it's a backbiting. But now, who is coming to backbiting? I would rather have information from the people. This one is doing this one. But with my leadership experience, I'm managing it, and we are moving forward. As at now, I can boldly tell you that United Front Party, when we talk of proper third force political party in Ghana, is UFP and none other party.
Why do you say so?
Yeah, because we are on ground. We are on ground. Even in 2020 election, the president himself knows that we are a threat to him. That's why they massage the system to disqualify us. Because if we were able to contest the 2020 election, by now we would have been at the Flagstaff House.
What makes you think so? Because looking at the big people, the NDC and the MPP and the CPP and the PPP and the UFP and
GCPP and the rest.
And then he said you want to just slaughter all of them and be on the seat.
Yeah.
What makes you think he had an advantage over them?
You see, an idea whose time has come, no amount of army can stop it.
Okay.
You understand? We are in the system. And it's enough for this elephant and the umbrella. Sometimes they have done their best. Ghanaians are tasty of a new ideology. Ghana, I have taught the length and breadth of this country. Look at the consequences. 3 days ago, I was at Savannah region for a funeral of the former president, Mahama's brothers. You see, brother's mother. You see, when you travel to the northern part of this country and you look at the vast land, a virgin land, untouchable land, just lying there. And Ghanaians will travel, I'm a transporter. In addition, I have trucks that import tomato from Burkina Faso. I've been there. Let's look at our agri system. When you travel to the northern part and you see the idle land, we have a huge lakes, white water and the black water. They are all coming from that angle. River Nassau and the rest. Why do we still keep importing tomato to Ghana? We import tomatoes from Burkina Faso to Ghana. Why? Any nation that cannot produce and feed itself and depend on the foreign items or foreign food, that nation suffered. Every year, we used to take about, it's not a full 12 months, but about 6 months, from December to June. Ghana will import tomato from Burkina Faso, close to 120 million CFA in every year. It's in a blind sign of the many people. Why can't us? We have good weather than Burkina Faso. We have forests, we have rivers than Burkina Faso. What did they do? What they normally do is, during the rainy season, they have dams. I won't say even dam. It's like a lake, because I've been there. One dam is like a Tolon Dam, which President Champon did in the Tolon Upper East region. But what are we seeing? And now they have close to 90 dams. One of the dams is like Lake Bosomche. And around one dam, you can get 24,000 to 30,000 farmers. What the government normally do is that when you are a great student or anybody after school, you wanted to invest into the farming, like tomato farming, the government will give you an irrigation pump for free. They will give you seed for free. They will give you land for free. So the center of attraction into agric over there is very high. Let's compare to Ghana here. If you even have the ideas and you want to go into agric, acquiring a land is a big problem. Seedlings and the one you use for the employment. So we are enemies to our own. That is Ghana for you.
Okay, so looking at what you just said, that we import tomatoes from Burkina Faso, which we know is very true. You were aspiring to be a president. Is it that you just have to be a president to be able to implement some of your policies, or as you are, you can still implement some of the policies to help the country?
You see, Ghana is a large country, and there are certain policies, if you want it to manifest, unless the government intervene or a foreign intervene. Here is Ghana that if you even need a loan to do a project, the government controls everything. We have a great bank. Let's ask ourselves that Agricultural Bank, ADB, Kwame Nkrumah established a great bank purposely for farming. How many farmers have a great bank help? How many of them? They are more of commercial bank. From Yendi to Tatale, we discovered, we have done a research for United Front Party. The provinces of River Oti, that links to the White Volta, we have discovered a land that in Ghana here, we can produce a rice that can supply or feed the whole of West Africa.
Really?
Because as for rice, all that it needs is water. There is a swampy land close to about 70 miles lying idle. That area alone can feed the whole of Africa rice. Look at the importation of rice that we do import into this country. And you see, one advantage of our local rice is that it's naturally nutritious than the imported ones.
Sir, I am not really cutting you in what you are saying, but comparing the foreign rice to the local rice, you can see that there's a vast difference in terms of package, and then another vast difference in terms of cost. When you compare the rice coming from outside, you see that the amount that is being sold is very minimal compared to the one we are producing here in Ghana.
The domestic one.
The domestic one is very expensive. Why is it so?
Because the government is not intervening. So if an individual is able or apply a loan and they give it to him or her, once it's a naturally ingredient, more nutritious, he will sell it higher. Because the production is very minimal. And the foreign ones is in the masses. And the foreign rice, if you don't get a better stew, you are just, consuming sake. But now, I ate jollof at Bole 3 days ago. They did not use oil, fry oil, no. They used shea butter. And it was so delicious. And you see, the additional benefit of it is shea butter is one of the avenues that when you consume is naturally profitable for your human system. But look at some of the oil that we consume. It will rather add up cholesterol into your system. And so many of the diseases that we are getting in this country is as a result of our intake of food we consume. Once upon a time, I was driving along certain stretch of the highway. I saw someone planting watermelon and cabbage. He's using just a gutter, a drainage water to water that foodstuff, that vegetable. You can imagine the consequences. And this vegetable, after it matured, they will sell it into a big hotels. They will sell it into a big restaurant. So at the end of the day, what are we consuming? We have a huge problem in this country. United Front Party is the solution.
Okay, so you said we have a big problem as a nation, and the only party that will be able to solve it is the United Front Party. I want to know, what is your philosophy and your economic model? What do you have in mind that when you talk about it, you think the Ghanaian youth or the whole population of the country will rally behind you?
That is a huge problem. You see, first of all, when I say UFP is the solution, let me remind you of Ghanaian greatest problem in our political system, in our governance system. You see, when NPP wins power, you can get a fine knowledgeable fellow, either being in an NDC, UFP, or CPP. Once the fellow doesn't belong to their elephant family, they will not regard him or her. It's a big problem. We need a political party that can unite our motherland, Ghana. When I become a president, irrespective of where your political colors belongs to, provided you have an idea or knowledge that will help push Ghana ahead, nothing more, nothing less. Have you ever seen this president appointing someone in an NDC before?
No, please.
Even the party people rally, hey, this way on your party back, ya buy now, so our party, our government is on it. So we have to satisfy our people. Is the greatest problem of Ghana. And imagine if the former government is doing some project, and unfortunately, Ghana changed political party or the government changed. Instead of the new government to continue the project, they would abandon it and go and look for another loan. Example is the Segrebe.
Exactly.
Example is the second or the largest military hospital in this country at Aferi in Ashanti region, Achuma district. The former President Mahama started it, and it almost about 80% in completion. What are we witnessing now?
111.
111. Why don't you finish, complete it, hand over?
Is it because they want to just title it with their names, that I am the one who started it and I completed it? That's why they are not completing the other political parties' project they started? Or what? Because I don't get it.
It's a bad governance. You see, it's a bad governance in the sense that, imagine if within 2 years, isn't it, President Mahama was able to complete Circle Interchange. President Mahama started Pokuase Interchange, Tema Interchange, and the rest. During Nanado era, he has supervised it. They have completed it. Although the credit wasn't given to the former government. I sometimes too blame the Ghana media. Most of the Ghana media has turned to remote control. They don't face fat anymore. It's some, not all. They work to satisfy always the present government, which is very bad. And I know some of the media in this country that they are on a payroll. Some of the journalists of this NPP government, they won't do the right thing. And I'll be the president that even when you criticize me, and the criticism makes sense, and the criticism will help develop this country, I will award you.
So do you support Fix the Country?
I do. I do. It's not overdue. Anything that will help push the government ahead, I support it. And one disadvantage thing in this country is that when you are criticizing the government, if care is not taken, they can even kill you.
Exactly.
So some of us that have sacrificed our life for this country, it's not easy. You have to be changing cars, you have to be changing your route, you have to be security conscious.
So when you become a president, how will you make sure that this whole thing is kept? Because we are using democracy as our system of governance. And then I believe that there is freedom of speech. So this is the case where when you try to pinpoint what is going wrong in your community, you'll be dealt with. Either you pay with your life or something else. As a president, what will you do about it?
Many times, you see, is the weakness of an institutions. We need a liberty for our institutions. For instance, Ghana Police Service, they don't have their liberty. They will wish. Some of the officers are very genuine. They are very professionals. Some too are remote control because their government is in power. It's only in Ghana that you will see a police officer who is not ashamed to say, "Ma bain and abaso." What happened at Ayawaso by-election? West Worgon. The brutality that happened, IGP came out, then Asante appealed too. He said, "We doesn't know anything about that." The district commander over there, they questioned him. He said he don't have idea about those people. Who to be blamed? We are in this country, and the Deputy National Security Minister, Brian Champon, he spoke on your sister station. So I am the one who instructed them. On what capacity? Are we in different constitution under MPP? You see, who must be blamed? And I am not wondering about this behavior because DSP Nanka Bruce was beaten brutally the president boys. What happened? Example could have been sent over there. We need a government, we need a nation that even if the president's son or daughter commit, the law must deal with him or her.
And I don't want going to say that example.
Yes, I will.
Really?
That is why I would say once you become a leader, you don't have a child. All the children within all the people within your child ages are your children. Your mother ages must be your mothers. Your father ages must be your brothers, must be your brothers, your sisters. And it will help this country. But the situation whereby the discriminations, this is the man who is my brother, this is the man who belongs to my party. I wouldn't mind even if my brother go against the constitution, he must deal with him.
Okay, so per my research, you were denied presidential candidate twice, 2016 and 2020, by the Electoral Commission. How well, because you were not able to meet their criteria, How well do you think, when you give the nation to you as the president, you'll be able to manage it?
Many times, you see, it's something like institutional problem. Imagine the 2016 is over, but let's talk about 2020. What they say is somebody filled a form, nominated me, and the fellow said the electoral commission said the fellow doesn't know me.
But do you know the person who nominated you?
I am on it. I know him. I knew him. He is my constituency chairman. And per the rules and regulations of the Electoral Commission, its own bylaws, I stand to be corrected of their article, says that I can marry you today, tomorrow, or tomorrow next. We can divorce, isn't it? So if someone nominated me and my everything is in the right direction, and even when you ask the fellow, do you know Dr. Agyenim Boateng? And he said, oh no, I don't know him. Give me the opportunity to replace him. Within 7 days, if I'm not able to do that, the Electoral Commission its own laws. Then you can go ahead to justify it. Here is the case. The man is someone who cannot read and write.
Your constituency chairman.
Exactly.
Okay.
They invited him to Shama, Western Region office, and they asked him, do you know Jataba? He said, yes. You know, I'm affectionately called Jataba. He said, oh, I know him. He said, and they asked him, have you endorsed him? And he said, yes. And the Electoral Commission, in their own office, they wrote a letter that then we want to write a letter for you to certify that you are the one who endorsed him. But the content of the letter said that I assume I see Mr. So and so doesn't know this man anywhere.
Wow.
That is the content of the letter.
Did it get to you? Did the content of the letter get to you?
Yes.
And so the man signed the letter and it was given back to you?
No. He signed the letter. They gave him a copy.
To be brought to you?
No. To keep.
Then he brought it to you?
Afterwards. So when he kept it, he thought that he has done the right thing. And this thing happened at the Electoral Commission office. Not that he went somewhere or went to a commission of oath that, oh, assist me to write a letter to the commission. No. They wrote the letter at the Electoral Commission office.
So that actually gave you the right to sue them?
So when the Electoral Commission breached their own law without informing me, during the presentation of our forms, they told me everything is all right.
Really?
Some of the political parties that they have pleaded with me not to mention their names, that they contest, they gave their document to them 3 or 4 times to do a corrections.
So why is your case different? Are you having
because
any beef
I am a threat to the president. Where I am coming from, they have their research team. They have their national security report.
Wow.
Hey, Master, I will contest you.
So that's why they've been denying you since 2016.
Exactly. So, you know, this particular one, we took the case to court.
Okay.
And this man came to court in presence of our noble judge. They said, you brought someone or someone, you use somebody's signature. I forged somebody's signature without the fellow's information. And this man was at the court, lift up his hand like this. Ami yeah. Ami ejako, minim no. Ami na me sign yeah. So you say I'm not good in fanting.
So what impression was the man trying to create?
He told the judge that he is the one who endorsed me.
Okay.
So what the electoral commission is saying is lie.
So what did the judge do?
The judge went ahead to give a judgment against me.
Upon all the evidence, did you show the letter?
No, what kind of evidence that is more essential? Like the fellow is there physically. It was tough for the judge, so she have to be break before giving the ruling. It took close to 1 hour 30 minutes. When she came back, upon so they
ruled against you.
I would say they wrote the judgment for her.
Okay.
People told me I should proceed. And I said, no. That is the nature of, you see, so not that my document wasn't genuine. 275 constituencies, everything was not bad. And you can imagine, they said, oh, Priscilla, they said, you have forged Priscilla's signature. And the priest says, oh, I am the one who endorsed and signed. Not that he was incapacitated, that he gave power of attorney to someone. No. The fellow is there personally, physically, with his voter ID card. And he said, he mentioned the officer, what that damn me, what catch me there, say, no. They did not even listen to him. That is the nation we are in now. Rule of law has break. No wonder their own people went to court, try to beat up a judge.
Interesting. So, what will you talk or say about the educational sector?
Educational sector under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is very, very bogus.
Why?
You see, this free education, the detriment of it is very dangerous. You know why?
No.
They don't fail the kids. Once the fellow comes to SHS1, neither he fail the exam or pass. The next year or the next academic year, they will push them like a sheep from this room to another room. The indiscipline, my child, my daughter is in Kononwood, Massey Senior High. I was there. And the suppression of the officers, when I say the officers, like the teachers, headmasters, how dare you say things are not going on well? Textbooks are not being supplied. But look, read their manifesto. They said, oh, all that you need is to just get your bath. In Kumasi, so free education. They
provided them with past they call it past textbooks, those past questions, the book, and then math sets.
No. If you know if you know you have studied. I was one of the students that wasn't afraid of exam because I knew what the teacher has taught us is the one that is going to manifest, isn't it?
Exactly.
And I'm ready for it. So the government itself know. He knew that no, the education system is very poor. So, as at now, none of Nana Addo's grandchild or niece or nephew are in this country for this education. They are in Oxford, Cambridge, and the rest. They themselves know. Why do we have to politicize with our education? Are you aware that the exam they wrote last year is not being acceptable by the WAEC.
Exactly.
And the unfortunate thing is that we have the so-called intellectual dishonest people in this country. Once is their party, once is their friend, once they sympathize with Kufuor, so they won't say anything. And they are giving the scholarship to their kids to go and study outside. So if you are sitting comfort zone and say, oh, free education, they are giving your child or your ward poisonous education.
So what will you do differently?
You see, when somebody gives you free things, then the fellow is enslaving you. We need more industries. Imagine if I'm working, or a young man is working, receiving about 2,000 a month. The wife is also working, receiving 1,000 or 1,500 a month. How much is the school fees? In 2016, my constituency chairman at BIA in the then Western region, now Western North, one of his child completed junior high school. He got admission at Sewibekwai. He took the child to the school, boarding house. After everything, he spent 600 Ghana. And the discipline is there. Although by then they have comments. They're, I think, progressively free. It wasn't all that free. So once you paid something, you have spoken to your child. Be careful. And the child will say, oh, my dad has paid my fees. I will study hard. Every school must get its rules and regulations. If you are not able to score up to this mass, either they sack you or they will repeat you.
So that's what you are going to do?
Of course. Free education is not a priority for Ghanaians. What Ghanaians need is job.
So coming to the job side, how do you think you'll be able to create job for the youth? Because Ghana, as many countries, we have one of the biggest population when it comes to the youth. How best do you think you'll be able to create jobs for the youth?
Industrialization. Industrialization must be one of the priority. You see, go to the supermarket and these share shops and the rest. You will see some of the juice, they will write watermelon, they will write orange, they will write this and this. Mind you, it's not natural juice. I was at the north. I saw a place that a huge watermelon, bigger than my head, they sold it 5 cedis. Come to the south, in Kumasi, they will sell it 10, 15 cedis. In Accra here, it will be 20 cedis. So why don't us get a huge watermelon farm? Then we found a processing plant. How much does it cost? So that we will be producing natural watermelon juice without any concentrate. As this Briskies is doing here. How many of the fruit processing juice do we have in Ghana? And how many of this can juice, which are not natural juice, we import into this country, creating jobs for other countries? Let's come to this cocoa production. You know, are you aware that the chocolate they do in the market, the cocoa shell, is the seed shell is not part of it. When you see cocoa butter and the rest, not the cocoa bean itself, it's just the shell of the bean. So we have a lot of natural resources in this country that we have to process them here before we export it. If Great Britain need beans, cocoa bean for chocolate and the rest, we have to create job here. After we purchase the cocoa, let's do the processing plant. extract the bean alone to them for them to do their chocolate. Let's use the shell of the cocoa bean to do how do you call this, cocoa butter and the rest. Shea butter, it does a lot of things. Go to Italy. Lemon is one of the hot commodity in lemon. I was at Milano. They gave me certain wine called Lemoncino. Very natural. Lemon wine. Go to China. The hottest oil in China is corn oil. Corn oil. We can plant a lot of maize, extract the oil, and the finished products of the oil, the waste ones, can be turned as a poultry feed. It can be turned at the same time as fertilizer. So Ghana is blessed. Our problem is the leadership. Ghana, we don't have any problem. Our problem is our leaders and the ministers. We have Minister of Agri who doesn't have idea about agriculture. Just imagine. You can have a Minister of Interior or a former IGP. We said that it's only heaven that there is no crime or something like that. We must give our institutional liberty to prosecute people. So, because we manipulate everything in the system, once the fellow becomes a judge, then becomes a ten god. When the fellow becomes a commander, then he becomes a ten god. We need to empower all the institutions to work properly.
So, do you think Ghana is ready for the African Continental Free Trade Area? That particular project that is going to be an African project. Do you think Ghana we are ready for the African Continental Free Trade Area program?
We are more than ready because we have a favorable weather. Now we are in the rainy season. We have to make good use of all the seasons. That alone will help us.
So you think we are ready as a nation?
Yeah, we have to. Why do we have many poultry farmers in this country and we keep on importing a freezed chicken into this country? Our food and transport too are not perfect. A lot of unwholesome items in the market, killing people. The diseases we are getting now in this country is as a result of the intake of our meals. Last 3 weeks I drove to Monrovia, Liberia. I passed through the Côte d'Ivoire. When I got to Nzima, I passed through the former president's hometown, Dr. Nkrumah, and I was sad. You can see Nkrumah was so selfless. Because look at what is happening at the president's hometown now. Free Wi-Fi. And go to the places that they voted chunk for him. You can meet a woman recently. They said she's 198 years. And if you get to meet her and ask her, what has she taken in the morning? No chemical. Now we project the chemical products. At the right time, we will come to our health sectors. People die in the hospitals more than they die at home. Why? Unprofessionalism.
Is it on the part of the workers or the government?
Some are in the part of the workers, government. But who is monitoring who? We are in this studio. There is a teamwork. Go to some hospital and see. Instead of a nurse or a doctor to attend to a patient, they feel that they attending to you, they are doing you a favor, isn't it? But rather, it must to be their responsibility. I was in the UK about 6 years ago. We took a friend to St. Anthony Hospital. It was an emergency. As soon as we got to the hospital, they rushed him. Some were checking his temperature alongside pushing. So before they get there, some two would just tap the finger, get a blood sample, send it to the lab. But most of the people die so recklessly of our physicians. Because if a doctor kills patients, nobody will hold him or her responsible. But can this be done in UK, Germany? You have to write a report and defend it.
So what will you do differently to solve that particular problem when it comes to doctors and nurses working recklessly? How would you solve that particular situation when it comes to our health sector?
First of all, most of our health sectors are not deserved to treat people over there. We need to upgrade the facilities and we have to train them properly. Some of the doctors are not professional. My own father, he's 93 years of age. During this propagating COVID-19, which I don't believe, he went to hospital. He was depressed. And the doctor declared him a COVID patient. So by then I was at Nzima and he called me, Jataba, doctor said me nya corona. And I said, what? I came down and you see, we have proper drugs. There is one drug which I purchased from Switzerland, $400. Immune booster. It generates immune. Because this corona and the rest is a lower immunity. Nothing more, nothing less. And the doctor has given him some chlorine. I just throw all drugs away and started giving him this drug. Giving him proper meal. Because I have reserved about 2 acres in my farm that we don't put any chemical in it. Neither plantain, maize, yam, cassava. They are all organic. Started giving to him. Within 3 days, the man started walking. Every morning I will take him to walk. And now he's a living testimony. So imagine, if I'm not around, the doctors, you see, the psychological trauma alone will kill this old man. Now he's 94 yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Very heavy. And if I tell you one secret of my dad, his last born is 5 years.
What?
Yes. That shows you that he's still strong.
I see.
Yeah, his father was 138 years. So why should he die in 90s? He's still a young man.
I see.
So when we have proper monitoring, we take in good diet. You don't need doctor. Aside emergency like accident and the rest, you don't need a medical doctor. And when you go to Europe, a very good doctor is the one who educates you to prevent diseases, not the one who cures it. They are propagating about corona. Do you know how malaria is killing people in this country? Just imagine. Why don't they propagate about the environment? If a GMA, Ghana Medical Association, can propose to the government, the president to go to lockdown, which I know is a conspiracy to commit crime. Why don't they propose to the government to tell him that some of the health sectors, he need to upgrade them? One, I think last year I was driving to Kumasi, I was close to Agyenim and I saw a pregnant woman. They were looking for a vehicle. I took her in my car. The nearest hospital was in Nirisi. We got there, and even there wasn't any water flowing at their facility. How much does a dark borehole cost? So when you give birth, there automatically infection will set in because you need a lot of water at the maternity ward. You need a lot of water to do a lot of cleaning. So is the Ghana Medical Association aware of this? And there are doctors there. If they can propose to the government, let's go lockdown. Recently they tried. They said they have gotten some Delta Force diseases.
Delta Force variant.
Some of us rise up and say, hey. So I pray one day Ghana Medical Association, family, the NAT was the association head of the teachers. Now they have NAGRAT. Now they have concern so and so. I prayed, I pray that one day there should be another association of the medical students or the medical doctors. You will see all this conspiracy to commit crime will not happen anymore. I have information that any doctor that signs that corona has killed someone, they have an amount of money that they give to that doctor.
So are you trying to say that the COVID-19 is actually not killing people, that they are forging figures?
It's a scam. The COVID-19 itself is somebody's business. Why I am saying this? Because you retrospect that we had this Ebola virus around our neighboring African country, isn't it?
Yes.
The former president was able to build Ebola Center at Tema. He was able to build one at Kumasi, at Unsagogo, government hospital. Should in case some enters the country. Look at the amount of money, the donation people has donated for this COVID issue. Individuals, banks, churches. When the money accumulated huge, the president, what does he do? He brought his sister, Sophia Kufu, to come and lead, to be the head of that account. Have you witnessed any emergency center? If someone get corona, they should send him or her there. How many ventilators were they able to purchase? So it's a scam. During the campaign time, there wasn't any corona. And let me say this. One of my brother who lived a reckless, my late brother, he lived a reckless life. This shisha, smoking, and he had a kidney problem. So we went to New Delhi, India. They took one kidney away and they told him to stop smoking. He was living in Washington. Once he has become the addicted, he said, "Menumu," because when he doesn't smoke, then he will start vibrating like this. And apparently the other one too had an infection. So they gave him 6 months to live. When he is about 3 weeks to 6 months, he wanted to die. Then I said, "My brother, you know the consequences. It is your own making, but it must to happen. Even if you live 180 years, you will one day go to your maker." I convinced him. He said, "Family." I went there to brought him. Thank God he got 6 weeks grace period. So the last week, when I realized the condition, I took him to one of these big hospitals in this country. He passed on within 72 hours. The doctor told me that corona That's hey, doctor, are you under mental? What kind of stupid tropical medical doctor are you? So he asked the nurse, who is this man? He said, oh, when a friend is Jatabano. So, me sorry, give me a few minutes. He went back and told me that, oh, it was the lab officer who has done the error. And I said, what killed him? He couldn't answer. So he started searching for the fire. We took the body away and gave him a befitting burial. So imagine if I'm not there, they will quarantine this body and send it and add to their criminal corona numbers.
Oh God, how will you fight corruption?
You see, fighting corruption must begin from your own home. Example must be zero tolerance. Not that if my cousin or my niece or even my wife is corrupt, I should tolerate. If I become a president and my wife is involved in the corruption, I will even divorce her and remarry, and I'll let the law prosecute her.
Do you really mean what you're saying?
Yeah. I'll set an example. If my wife involved in any corruption as a first lady, I will divorce her first of all and remarry. And I will let the institution prosecute her to set an example. But what we are witnessing now is, look at PDSD. Even this COVID-19 issue, the health minister, look at what has happened.
Coming to that, do you think we've been able to manage COVID-19 well as a nation? Have we been able to manage COVID-19?
In what sense?
In terms of the vaccine procurement and the whole brouhaha around it.
You see, what matters most is that as for the vaccine, me, my wife, my relatives that listen to me, we have not been injected. Because injecting this vaccine into your system is a projection of diseases into your system. I am speaking from experience. I have a child who is 6 years today.
Wow.
When he was giving birth, the mother, I'm no more, due to this, I'm no more with the mother. A friend, white, a German, told me that, look, this vaccine given to the kid is not good. What matters most is if the woman take a seed, what she will eat, and proper medicine that she will take, avoidance of mosquito infections, the child doesn't need any drug. His mother was a midwife. So the boy was about 6 months. It's all my one panel there, Joba. And I took me back. And I say it in the glory of the Lord. That 6 years now. You see, after me, she went and married a certain, and the child is a cripple now. Upon all the injections they gave to him.
Wow.
Yeah. So our system itself, we don't need external medicines. All that we need is proper meal. Proper meal. If it is a PCA, make sure it's organic. Yesterday someone showed me a video that a woman is using soap to wash cabbage. A soap to wash cabbage. Imagine the consequences of this. And most of the restaurant doesn't have food and safety officers. Food safety officers. How many restaurants do we have in this country? So I do eat in only one restaurant in this country called Starbite, because I have witnessed their food safety officer that monitored, where even when you are supplying them cabbage, they will trace to the source. When they came to my farm, I have a poultry farm. So they want me to supply them eggs. But before they accept, they have to see the source. They came, so this is one of the neatest farms. Hygienic, healthy farms in the country. So our problem is the leadership. And who is monitoring who? We don't have monitors. We have people, as soon as they got their appointment, they want to make good use of the period they are in it. That is all. Look at our education. Lecturers are crying. So our problem is the leadership. Ghana is blessed.
So, the last question. What will you do in terms of all that we've spoken about, our education, our health, as an incoming president, if God willing? What would you do differently for you to be exceptional from all the presidents or all the past presidents we've had?
First of all, we need all-inclusive government. Because, don't be deceived, Ghanaians are very intellectuals. If only you will give them the opportunity, they will sell. They will sell perfectly. But when you become selfish, oh, my government is in power, whether the fellow is capable or not capable, because he's your man, put him there, that is wrong. Look at what transpired during the vetting of our MPs. Majority of them are also corrupt, both the oppositions and those in government. Why do we still keep someone like the defense minister? Why do we have to keep someone like the interior minister? Someone like the minister of health? Someone like the minister of finance?
Are you saying we should slash that position, or we should?
No, we should have. They don't deserve. They are not fit for purpose.
Is it the position that is not fit for purpose, or the individuals?
The individual, the minister I'm talking of.
Okay.
Why should Ken Oforiatta? Have you ever witnessed any economic policies that he has done and he's been profiteering to this country, apart from loan, apart from increasing, augmenting of taxes? Are we not in this country? They conspire with the Ghana Medical Association that we need to go for lockdown for, is it 21 days? And what happened? They were sharing food to people. I saw some Nanado pictures, MPP pictures. Some of the MPs' pictures were on those food. I thought it was the party's own resource. They said they have spent 54 million for that thing. Sharing for MPP people alone. Because I personally contributed to my local and extended people. So, here is the problem, that when you put relatives within your government or within your leadership, among all my business in my company, none of the workers that are my family members.
So when you become the president, do you have people who you work with?
It's a team. As and when we move from the length of breadth of this country, we know people we are meeting. We are jotting some down. It doesn't matter whether the fellow is your party member.
Okay.
What matters most is the fellow is a Ghanaian. And the capabilities of his ideology, that matters.
Interesting. What will be your final word to our viewers and the nation at large?
My final words is that we have one nation, one people. Enough of discriminations. People look down upon people in this country too much, too many. That who we see. No. You see, our greatest problem in this country is respect. Discrimination and respect. When someone is learning in our local language, we will call him Fita. We don't regard him. Let me tell you something. My uncle is a professor, engineer at KNUST. He bought a brand new Land Cruiser. We were traveling to Sunyani and he said he wanted to drive. So I realized there is some noise under his brand new machine. Not knowing, we call something caliper that hold the brake. And I told him, "Oh, so you're an engineer." And he was a and I heard it said, "Found say so fit any no me." A professor. So we call this young man about 25 years of age. He said, "Kowechi mami here, tia brake." As soon as he applied the brake, he heard the so maybe he went for a spinal screwdriver. Within 10 minutes, he's done. Why don't we employ such people in the government sectors? We talk about paper qualification. And we are in this country that somebody can be somewhere and somebody can write his or her exam for the fellow. So, if I become a president, I will not depend much on the paper issue, but the capability. The capability matters. And our respect for education shouldn't be only purely academic in terms of writing alone. We need practical ones. The technical sector is down. And in every country worldwide, it's the technical people that push them ahead. Everything is technical. Now the vocational is down. Look at someone can sew nice fabric. And somebody can go to a fashion student or a lecturer at one of the universities, which I know he teaches fashion. I know one man, as a fashion teacher, he cannot sew for himself. But someone who doesn't been in the classroom before used to sew for him. Isn't it amazing? So why don't we bring these people to come and lecture practically? Practically. We have the deficit of practical knowledge. Somebody will come and sit and rattle. And our greatest problem in this country is the language barrier. If somebody cannot speak English, our slavery language, then they classify the fellow as, oh, onima dear, oh, you see. But forgetting that English is somebody's language. If I become a president in this country, English must be a choice. If the boy is a Ga, if the lady is an Ashanti or a Fanti, the exams must be written in the dialect that he or she understands better without any dictionary. That will help our nation.
Thank you so much.
Most grateful.
I'm very grateful for you responding to our call when we give you an invitation to come on our show. In fact, you've mentioned a whole lot of things, and I hope that people who are listening to us, and I know it will get to our leaders, they will pick one or two from it and start implementing. And better still, if it's God's will that you be our next president, we know that we have good things coming from you. Thank you so much for being a part of this show.
I'm eternally grateful. I wish you well. Broad daylight.
Yes. All right, people. So this is where we draw today's curtains on Broad Daylight. We spoke to the founder and leader of the United Front Party in the person of Nana Agyenim Boateng. I hope you learned one or two from it, and we hope to bring you super more exciting interviews in our next sections. Continue to follow us on our social media handles, that is Facebook CMGA-TV, YouTube CMGA-TV, Instagram CMGA-TV, and Twitter at CMGA-TV. Also follow us on our website at www.cmonline.com.gh, your authentic online news portal. Thank you so much for being a wonderful part of today's show. On to another episode, we call it A Day.